Well, I just got back from the East Coast after visiting family and spending some time at the beach. I haven't cut the lawn in over a week and it's getting pretty shaggy back here, and the putting green is looking a bit rough. I'm also having some issues with it, and I'll show you those in just a second. So I got a bunch of crabgrass coming up here. This spring I didn't do a pre-emergent, and now I'm paying the price, and I got a bunch of broadleaf weeds and crabgrass popping up through the putting green. Now I got some thin spots from accidentally scalping the putting green and then it dying in the heat. So I'm gonna have to repair these. Now before we go and do that, I'm gonna have to run this over with the lawnmower to clean everything up because it's been about a week and it's getting a little furry. Okay, so we're gonna begin the summer renovation project today on this putting green. One thing that I wanna do is get this running a bit firmer and a bit more level. So we're gonna do some sand leveling today. I got 6 bags of mason sand that I'm gonna spread around this putting green, fill in a couple of low spots, get it a bit firmer, and hope that it gives it a better roll to it. Also, I'm gonna go and seed some of those bare spots, and then I'm gonna spray some Tenacity and take care of those weeds. And then finally, we're gonna add a collar to this green so it looks more like a putting green instead of just this putting surface without a collar. Now, one thing I like about the mason sand is that it's nice and fine, and it'll work itself down into the soil. Well, I just spread 6 bags of mason sand around the putting green, and after I take a little break here, I'm gonna get out the level rake and the brush, and I'm gonna work that sand down into the canopy, hope that settles in there nice, and then we'll get the seeding project going, and then finally we'll work on the apron of the green. Okay, so I just finished raking in the sand and brushing it in, and now I'm running the sprinkler over it just to help that sand settle a little bit more. It's getting pretty late in the day, so tomorrow I'm gonna do the seeding project, and then if we got time, I'll start working on the collar. All right, so today we're gonna be seeding these bare spots. We're gonna be using this ryegrass, this SS 9900, and it's pretty remarkable that this stuff can tolerate being cut at 3/16 of an inch and be able to handle the heat of the Midwest. Now I'm gonna be exceeding the seeding rate with this because when you're cutting it that low, you wanna jam as many plants as you can into the ground. Okay, we just got our seed down. Now we can apply our herbicide so we can take care of that crabgrass and those other broadleaf weeds. Today we're gonna be using this pre and post-emergent herbicide called Tenacity. If you've never heard of it before, you can use it while seeding. It won't prevent the seed from germinating. It has this chemical in it called mesotrione. Now the application rate calls for 5 ounces per 1 acre. And since I only got 1,000 square feet, what we're gonna have to do is use 1/3 of a milliliter. And it also says you're supposed to use 30 gallons per acre. And since I'm not doing it over an acre, I'm doing it over 1,000 square feet, we're gonna have to use just over a half a gallon. All right, so we're gonna begin one of the worst processes in lawn care, and that's spreading peat moss around. Now this peat moss, this will help keep the seed moist throughout the germination period. What we're gonna do is we're gonna water every hour for 10 minutes between the hours of 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. And after 4 or 5 days, we should see some new grass plants coming up through the peat moss. Now, we don't have a huge area to cover, so I'm not going to use the peat moss spreader. I'm just going to go around and spread this by hand over those areas that we overseeded earlier today. Okay, we got our peat moss down, and now we're just gonna try to keep this as moist as possible. In a few days, we're gonna put some Subdue Max down. I just wanna try to manage the Pythium because we're gonna be watering the heck out of this, and with the warm temperatures, I don't wanna risk getting any Pythium blight. Hopefully after 4 or 5 days, we get some germination, and then after that, we can make a decision about when we wanna start mowing this. We're gonna start working on the Fringe, but before we go and do that, we're gonna have to switch out this 10-blade reel for the 6-blade reel. Otherwise, we'll have no chance of cutting through that thick turf. All right, I got the Swordman set on the highest setting, so we're gonna start hacking this down. That's kind of how I started building this putting green, is I took my existing turf and I just started slowly cutting it down. And that's what I'm gonna do with this Fringe. I'm gonna take the Swordman, I'm gonna cut it at 2 inches, and then I'm gonna progressively lower the height of cut. And then once I feel like it's low enough, we're gonna start sanding and then overseeding it if need be. Okay, I just cut down the Fringe to 1 1/4 inches. The goal is to get it to 3/10 of an inch. Now I should be able to do that over the next couple of weeks. We'll see how much sand leveling it needs and how much I need to overseed. Hopefully not much. I'll have another update coming out pretty soon. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.